popular X-Men character, Rogue, celebrated her 40th anniversary in 2021. In honor of that, I created a previous video called The Origin of Rogue. See the link in the description if you want to see that. The character has very strong depictions in the printed page, animation, video games, but was extremely weak in live action in movies. But also remember that the X-Men universe was owned by Fox, and Marvel didn't have anything to do with the creative decisions. And Fox developed characters like Wolverine, but didn't do so with Rogue. Now that Disney has bought out Fox, the X-Men are going to come into the MCU. So to fix Rogue, in this video, I'm going to go over the top 10 actresses I think should be considered to play Rogue in the MCU. Welcome back to Comic Power. I'm your host, Comic Killer 72, and you're watching a special report about who I think should be the top 10 actresses who should be considered to play Rogue in a live action reboot. First, a little background information about the character. If you're not interested in this and want to get directly to the top 10, jump to this timestamp. The character made her first appearance in Avengers Annual number 10 back in 1981, and her creation is credited to Chris Claremont and Michael Golden. She is a mutant with the power to absorb someone's life force by skin-to-skin contact. So if she touches you, she could drain your physical strength, even your memories. If you have superpowers, she could temporarily take those too. But it's an involuntary process that she can't control. So if she touches anyone, she could wind up killing them. As I stated previously, I did a full Rogue origin video. See the link in the description for a full breakdown on her origin. The only actress to ever play Rogue in live action is Anna Paquin, and this was a huge fail, and we're going to break this down exactly why in 5 different sectors. And that's going to be casting, power set, character development, costume design, and the character essence. I'll give all those categories an individual grade, then an overall grade, and then I'll move over into the criteria of what should be used to pick the next actress that's going to play Rogue to get it right. And let me apologize in advance for any ageism, sexism, male gazy, or look shaming. This video should be looked at through the lens of Hollywood casting. You ever heard that phrase that you like sausage, but you don't like seeing sausage being made? Well, the internal casting process at Hollywood is a lot like that, and kind of similar to professional sports, where the physical attributes of the person in question is going to be essential to the job itself. The average age in the NFL is also 26 years old, so you could be 28 years old and considered an old man in that sport, but considered a fairly young man in real life. So once again, I apologize in advance for how I'm going to be doing the casting in this video. And since we're going to start off the Rogue character as a teenager, there's going to be women I'm going to talk about in this video. They're going to be literally half my age. That fact is not lost on me, and I'll try to be as respectful as possible. But a discussion of height, age, looks, etc. is going to be unavoidable. Okay, thank you for understanding, so let's get into this breakdown. Casting. As you know, Anna Paquin is the first and only actress to ever play Rogue in live action. And I'm going to give this a C-, and not because Anna Paquin isn't a great actress, she is. She won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for her role in The Piano when she was just 11 years old. So she can act, but she doesn't have the right look for Rogue. Rogue is supposed to be played by a bombshell-looking type actress. DC understood this when they cast Harley Quinn when they picked Margot Robbie. And I'm not trying to say in an underhanded way that Anna Paquin is an ugly woman. I'm saying she's the every woman. Sort of like a younger version of Sandra Bullock. Remember how Sandra played Miss Congeniality? It's the fact that she's the every woman in the world of beauty pageants where she doesn't belong. If it would have been my choice, I would pick Jessica Biel, who also was 18 years old, just like Anna at the time in 2000. Today, she's in semi-retirement, married to the pop star Justin Timberlake. She's got the bombshell look and a 5'7" curvy athletic frame, whereas Anna is the every woman type of look and 5'4" and much more stout. So could Jessica have attacked a role with so much emotional depth in the Rogue character? I don't know, because most of her roles were comedies, but the Rogue character was so underwritten it wouldn't have mattered anyway. According to David Hayter, who was the writer for X-Men Part 1, the role of Rogue was offered to Rachel Leigh Cook, who had just came off of She's All That, but she turned it down because they didn't offer her enough money. And quite honestly, she had a very good look for Rogue, but she's only 5'2". She'd been very tiny. I don't think I would like that either. So the role was almost Rachel Leigh Cook, it was Anna Paquin, and it should have been Jessica Biel, in my humble opinion. That brings us to power set. I'm also going to give this a grade of a C-. Remember that Fox owned the X-Men at the time, so they didn't have the rights to the Miss Marvel character, so they couldn't do all the things they wanted to do with Rogue in terms of power set, because her super strength and flight was stuff she siphoned from Miss Marvel. So to be fair, Fox was handcuffed and couldn't give us the OP Rogue, but they never allowed the Rogue character to weaponize her power in battle. On her own accord, her power accidentally puts her boyfriend in a coma, Then she has an accident with Wolverine where he stabs her, and she has to siphon off some of his healing ability to heal herself. And Magneto's nefarious plan to weaponize her just makes her a plot device rather than a real actual character. That brings us to character development, and I give them a grade of a F on this. As I mentioned before, in the first X-Men movie from 2000, they did a good job of introducing the character. She doesn't know what's happening to her. She doesn't understand her powers. She's around 15 years old and forced to be a runaway. There's a lot to deal with. And they chose not to tell the original comic book story. I wish they would have, where Mystique finds her, but they chose Wolverine this time. And that's fine and dandy if you want to make changes to the origin, but by the time you get to X2, you should have her do something. And they chose not to use Gambit for this run, so they pair her up with Iceman. And that's fine too if you want to do that, but they didn't let her weaponize her powers, and they did this to her. They made her a sideline character. Rogue has never been a sideline character in the X-Men. In her Brotherhood of Evil Mutants introduction, or as a hero, she was always bold and out front. But this Rogue we got in the X-Men movies is so weak, it's pathetic. X-Men 3 has a plot which involves a cure for mutantism. And here's Rogue 3 movies in, raising her hand saying, "Me first, I don't want these powers." And by the time you get to the X-Men Days of Future Past, the character is so insignificant and so unnecessary, they basically cut her from the theatrical release. She shows up at the very end, she's like, "Hey Wolverine," she's in the movie like 5 seconds, and we didn't even miss her. Fox should be sued by all comic book fans for misleading them. This wasn't Rogue. I don't know who this character was. They made the character a joke, and they made Anna Paquin look like an awful actress. And we know that's not true because she was great as Sookie in True Blood. As the lead character in the franchise, she starts out as just a waitress from Louisiana. When this whole vampire thing goes down, she steps up to the challenge and kicks ass. She's more Rogue in True Blood than she is in the X-Men. And I'm sure that you agree. That brings us to costume design. And once again, they get an F rating. Allegedly, the director of the original X-Men films, Bryan Singer, apparently was not high on the X-Men uniforms from the comics. And instead of their colorful, bright individual uniforms, he put them in matching black leather outfits. It did have the nerve to make a joke about the outfits, talking about yellow spandex and how that would be silly. But look at the Avengers. These are pretty comic accurate. Is there anything silly about this? This is what they're supposed to look like. But Bryan Singer's X-Men, oh, we just can't do it. And that brings us to character essence. This is the accumulation of the character overall. Did they get it right? Does she have the Southern accent? A little bit. Does she go around calling everyone Shug? Do they give us the privately tortured but publicly bold Rogue that we know? Nope. So overall, I give this a F for Rogue. The Rogue from the comics and the video games and the animation is a very bold character, but this is weak sauce here in live action in the movies. So what are we going to do to fix it? I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but let me tell you in advance who will not be on my top 10 list. That starts with Alexandra Daddario. She got famous in the Percy Jackson film franchise. There's a big push from her fans for her to be cast as Rogue. For example, the images I'm showing you right now of fan art look pretty good. And she looks great. If they would have cast her Rogue back in 2008, she definitely should have been a finalist. But in 2021, she turned 35 years old, so she's aged out of the role because you need somebody who can pass for a teenager, and she just can't do that anymore. So I think she'd be great for some role in the MCU, but not Rogue. Another actress that will not be Rogue is Kathryn Newton, and to be honest, she was on my short list and definitely would make the top 10, but she got cast to play Cassie Lang in the Ant-Man franchise, so they fired the last Cassie Lang for whatever reason and hired her to replace her. As of 2021, Kathryn is 24 years old, she looks great, and I wish her success in the Ant-Man franchise. And a future young Avenger is the character Stature. Another actress that will not be Rogue is Holly Steinfeld. She's a pretty big deal in Hollywood, and her fans also have been trying to push for her to be Rogue. All that ended when she was cast to play Kate Bishop, the new Hawkeye, and she will be mentored by the original Hawkeye on a Disney Plus show. So no Rogue for her either, and she too will be a young Avenger. Holly is 24 years old as of 2021. She's 5'8" with a great exotic look, strong actress and singer. She'll be fantastic as Kate Bishop. Now let's look at the 5-step essential criteria for casting Rogue. Number 1, that's going to be acting experience. Only one of these women in my top 10 was not a primary actress, but even she made her debut in 2021 and she did a pretty good job. Based on the origin of the character, she's going to be in a very dark, emotional place. You got to have somebody that can really handle that type of material. Criteria number 2, the real life age of the actress should be between 18 and 25. You need someone who can look like they're 15 years old starting out. And sign that actress to a 10-year deal where we can see that actress develop from a 15-year-old to a grown one. Criteria number 3 is height. I think that the actress should be between 5'4" and about 5'8". I don't want my Rogue short like 5'2" because next to Storm she's going to look really small. I envision them having a lot of scenes together like in the animated series. An actress that I think should play Storm is 5'9". Link in the description for my Storm recasting video. So if the MCU cast a tall Storm like I expect them to, you don't want that actress to tower over who plays Rogue. Criteria number 4, you don't want someone overexposed, like if they try to make Taylor Swift Rogue or something like that. That would just be bad. And the 5th and final criteria, Rogue should be a white female. And there are 3 reasons within this criteria why that should be obvious. Number 1, the X-Men are probably the most culturally diverse team in mainstream comics. You don't have to do any race swapping in this universe because it's already diverse. Number 2, we have precedent that the character is white because she's already been depicted outside comics in animated form and live action already as white. And number 3, she's described as a Southern belle from Mississippi that calls everyone Shug and Hun. Sounds like a white woman from the South to me. Thank you for hanging in there with me for the initial setup. I promise it'll be well worth the wait. So now, without any further ado, I present to you the top 10 actresses that should be considered to play Rogue in the MCU. Number 10, Addison Rae, and we're going to get this started with a real wild card. She's 21 years old at the time I make this video, 5'4", and an American from Louisiana. So she hits 4 of the 5 criteria, being just 1 inch shorter than the minimum. So let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, she did get famous from TikTok, which she started around 16 years old, and she got popular doing whatever the dance move of the week was. So just dancing and being silly netted her 78 million followers on TikTok. I don't label her as overexposed because she's not famous on TV or in movies or in the music business. She used social media to get famous out of nowhere, and that has made her a huge international star, and she didn't have to go to Hollywood. Hollywood came to her. She made her acting debut in early 2021 with He's All That, which is basically a gender swap remake of the 1990s movie She's All That. The film's not going to win an Oscar or anything, but it was okay. So Addison absolutely has the attractive looks, just enough height at 5'4". The physicality is there, which all would work for the Rogue character, and she has a built-in fan base of nearly 80 million people, which is a bonus. But we don't know if she can handle dramatic acting. That's why this is a reach and just a wild card. Let's see her tackle a dramatic acting role first. Number 9. Kelly Berglund. She's 25 years old, 5'4", and an American from California. So she hits 4 of the 5 criteria. She's 5'4", just being 1 inch shorter than my minimum. She's had a very interesting career. As a child actress, she got her start in Disney projects such as Lab Rats and its spin-off Lab Rats Elite Force. Unlike other child actresses that I will mention in this video, Kelly's roles have not been as good going into adulthood. She's done very small roles and guest starring roles on television, and the stuff that she has been starring in as a main character has been very crappy, like whatever this is. It was canceled after just 1 season. It's as bad as it looks. Maybe she needs a better manager or something because she deserves better work than what she's been given. I know there's a lot of pretty faces that are floating around Hollywood, but she's a very gorgeous young woman with a physique that would look perfect for being a superhero. In making this video, I found nothing about her being hard to work with or on some insane Lindsay Lohan type destructive stuff. So whatever it is, Hollywood is just not knocking down her door these days. But one of the things I like about her is that she can change her look and look like a completely different person just by whatever she does with her hair and makeup very easily. So at the end of the day, if I was casting Rogue, I would bring her in to read for the part. Number 8. Chloe Grace Moretz. She's 5'4", 24 years old, and an American hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. So she hits 4 of the 5 criteria, and she's just 1 inch shorter than the 5'5" I think the character should have. She has a very impressive acting resume, but what makes her so interesting is her role as Hit Girl in the Kick-Ass movie franchise, where she played the role in 2 different movies at the ages of 13 and 16. And yes, the role was a way over-the-top satire, and she used a lot of stunt doubles, but she handled action very well. So she's the only woman on this list that's done real superhero action type of stuff. She's very good at it too. And what can you say? She's a real cutie pie and has an impressive resume. She's done a lot of good voice work as well, such as the voice of Wednesday in the Addams Family, and the voice of Snow White in The Red Shoes and 7 Dwarfs. Besides Kick-Ass, the other action she's done is the sci-fi action of The Fifth Wave, which is an underrated film. She also did some live acting on stage in a play called The Library, which details the fallout of a school shooting that happens in a library. Although just 24 years old, she's been active in Hollywood since she was 7 years old. So based on that resume and her look, I think she should be able to read for the role of Rogue. Number 7. Elena Bolden. She's 24 years old, she's 5'3", and from the United Kingdom. She hits 4 of the 5 on the criteria, being kind of shortish at 5'3", when I think that Rogue should be about 5'5" or taller, but this is a very talented young lady here. Best known for her role as the title character in I Am Elizabeth Smart, a true story about a teenage female who was abducted in Salt Lake City in 2002, but was later returned to her family. Here she is with the real-life Elizabeth Smart on the right. Elena is not very well known in the United States, and she hasn't done too many films. She's done mostly television, such as Hawaii Five-0, in which she had a reoccurring role in. There's nothing we can do with her height at 5'3". She's kind of petite, but that could work for an early Rogue. And although 24, she can easily pass for 15 still. So Elena has a terrific look, and she proves she can play the lead of a young girl in crisis. So it would be wise to bring her in and let her read for the role of Rogue. The British are well known for nailing American accents very well, and she can do that as well. Number 6. Catherine Langford. She's 25 years old, 5'5", and a very accomplished actress from Australia. If you're a die-hard MCU fan, she may appear familiar to you. She made a cameo appearance in the focus group edition of Avengers Endgame in 2019, where she plays a grown version of Morgan Stark, Tony Stark's daughter, where they have a brief but heartfelt conversation in the Soul World, mimicking what Thanos and Gamora did at the end of Infinity War. But it was cut from the theatrical version of the movie because it confused a lot of focus group people. They didn't know that this little girl was supposed to be her. And saying that, the MCU had to do a 15-year time jump to keep Catherine Langford as the Morgan Stark character and take up the armor. That's not going to happen, so let's consider her for Rogue. Catherine made a big name for herself in 2017, starring in the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why, in which she was nominated for a Golden Globe, a heavy drama about a teenage girl who kills herself and leaves recordings behind giving 13 reasons why she did it. It's a powerful, dark story, and the Rogue story is very tragic, so you want somebody that has this type of experience. She also starred in the critically acclaimed Knives Out, in the dark comedy Spontaneous, in which she earned a Critics' Choice Award nomination. She's got these very intriguing, hypnotizing eyes and very pouty lips. So she not only has the good looks to play this role and the right height to play this role, she's got the dramatic acting experience to back it up. I only have her listed at number 6 because the Morgan Stark thing may still be attached to her. I hope it doesn't affect her chances, but it could. If they select her, you get no argument from me. She's an excellent actress who would do justice to the part. Number 5. Lily Reinhart. This attractive blonde is a 5'6" American from Cleveland, Ohio. She was not very well known until 2017 when she scooped up the part of Betty Cooper in the live-action version of Riverdale, a very dark take on the Archie universe in the vein of I Know What You Did Last Summer. She's very talented and very photogenic, and the camera really loves her. Her look is too much of a grown woman to pass for 15, so if I cast her as Rogue, then I think she should be about 18 or 19, already in the Brotherhood with Mystique. Besides Riverdale, she's also been in the reboot of Charlie's Angels as a new angel recruit, the romantic drama Chemical Hearts, which is available on Amazon, and The Kings of Summer, a movie about some teenagers living off the land during their summer vacation. And she hits all 5 points of the criteria that I mentioned before. She's a quality actress that can handle heavy drama, and she's gone public with the fact in real life she suffers from depression and anxiety, or for better or for worse, her real life situation can let her channel the real pain that's in the Rogue character. So if you want to age up the Rogue character just a little bit, then Lily Reinhart is a good choice. Number 4. Odeya Rush. She's a 24-year-old exotic beauty who's 5'5" and from Israel. Her name Odeya means I will thank God in Hebrew. She's not very well known and doesn't have a lot of big roles. Her best known role is in Goosebumps opposite Jack Black. She also starred in the romantic comedy Let It Snow from 2019 on Netflix. She's very photogenic and the camera just loves her. So besides acting, she's done a lot of modeling on the side and has appeared in major campaigns for Tommy Hilfiger, H&M, Polo, and others. So although born in Israel, she came over to America when she was a small child, so she doesn't have a thick accent, the way that Gal Gadot, who is also from Israel, does have. If you're wondering if Odeya can master a southern accent, well, she attended a Jewish school in Alabama, so she would be familiar with the culture and the accent. So if they cast Odeya Rush to play Rogue in the future, most people would have no idea who she is at first, but they would grow to love her. Number 3. Olivia Holt. A very serious actress and a very attractive blonde from Germantown, Tennessee, USA. Standing 5'2" and 24 years old at the time I made this video. She first started appearing in commercials at the age of 10 for Bratz dolls and all kind of things. She was trained in gymnastics as a kid, which helped her land her breakout role in Kicking It on Disney. To Marvel comic fans, she may be known for her role in the live-action version of Cloak and Dagger, based on the comic book series of the same name. They're runaway teens that were experimented on and gained superpowers and become vigilantes who made their debut in Spider-Man. Spider-Man. The show ran for 2 seasons and had 20 episodes, but no one saw it because they put it on Freeform, so guess what? No one saw it. It had a very loose connection to the MCU. I don't know if they're bringing these characters back. You should definitely see her in the psychological thriller Cruel Summer. And the executive producer is Jessica Biel, who I thought should have been Rogue 20 years ago. But I digress. Olivia has too many roles to count. We'd be here all day going over them. She has vast experience in both comedy and drama, and she's also a very gifted singer as well, so she basically does it all. And to be honest with you, it'd be hard to keep her out of the #1 spot except for one thing. She's very, very short. She's only 5'2". You may be thinking that requirement that I mentioned may be too stiff, but I think it's important. I don't think her connection to Cloak and Dagger hurts her because they could just write that off as, hey, this was just another universe. It really wasn't the MCU. Despite being vertically challenged, if she got this role, I wouldn't complain at all. She's great. Number 2, Peyton List. She's 23 years old, 5'6", and an American from Miami, Florida. So obviously she's hitting on all 5 things in this criteria. Peyton is a very gorgeous young lady and her star is rising in Hollywood. She first rose to prominence playing Holly Hillis in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. She also appeared in Bunked, which was a spin-off of the Jessie series. She's best known right now for playing a villain in Cobra Kai, which you can see on Netflix. It's a continuation of the Karate Kid story in real time, in which Daniel-san and Johnny have competing dojos. What I like about her most is that she's got this sinister grin, so she's smiling, but it looks like she's up to something. Peyton is great. She's got a lot of personality. She's really outgoing and definitely is an extrovert, and she's got this darkness about her, which makes her a good villain, which would work for Rogue, because the character is introduced as a villain first when she's recruited by Mystique to become a member of the Brotherhood. Peyton has also very good feminine athletic curves on a 5'6" frame, so she looks like a superhero already. I think she's on the verge of becoming a pretty big star like Margot Robbie, a sexy blonde with a mischievous smile. She's taken fluffy Disney kid roles and made them dark. So imagine what she could do with some really heavy drama like the tortured Rogue character. So if they pick Peyton to play Rogue, then they have a winner. Before we get to the #1 actress I think is best to play Rogue, let's go over our honorable mention list. Music, please. Anna Sophia Robb. She's 27 years old at the time I make this video, best known for playing the lead in the Carrie Diaries. Dua Lipa, a 26-year-old British pop star with no acting experience, but too gorgeous not to be mentioned. Dakota Fanning. She seems older because there's so many things she's been in, but she's only 27 years old at the time I make this. Elizabeth Gillies. This 27-year-old actress first got famous in the Nickelodeon show Victorious, and she currently plays a Carrington in the reboot of Dynasty on the CW. Lily Collins. This British actor is already in her early 30s, but she still plays characters that are much younger, such as Cinderella and the love interest in Baby Driver. Michaela Schifrin. This 26-year-old has no acting experience. She's a world champion skier with a very photogenic look. She should get into acting. This would be a real surprise, but I think she should read for the role. Sabrina Carpenter, a 22-year-old actress and singer. She first started getting popular in the Disney show Girl Meets World. She has a great look and a lot of talent, but she's only 5 foot even. I think that hurts her. Victoria Justice. She's been in so many things it looks like she's much older, but she's only 28 years old. She played the lead in the show Victorious and too many other things to count. Could she take her success in comedy television and turn it into dramatic film? That's a good question. Alicia Vikander, a 32-year-old Swedish actress, best known for the live-action Tomb Raider movie. She's also married to the actor Michael Fassbender, who played Magneto in the X-Men series. And Millie Bobby Brown, the youngest actress on this list at just 17 years old. This British actress rose to fame in Stranger Things, where she's won too many awards to count. Alright, that's it for the honorable mention list, and now without further ado, I present to you the #1 actress I think should be chosen to play Rogue for the X-Men reboot in the MCU. Number 1. Bailey Madison. This young lady is a real shining star. She's a 5'6", multi-talented individual from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, USA. She's just 22 years old at the time I made this video, but she's a 17-year veteran in acting because she got in when she was just 5 years old. Her latest film at the time is A Cinderella Story, Starstruck. She's made dozens of appearances as a child actress in movies like Just Go With It, In the Bridge to Terabithia, and real standout roles on television such as The Good Witch and in The Fosters. She's not a household name at the time I made this video, but she is steadily working. And she's so in demand that she turns down more roles than she accepts. And she showed a lot of emotional and dramatic range in the slasher film Strangers Pray at Night, and she had to get bloody and play frightened and she was very convincing in this role. And by the way, this movie was produced by a production company called Rogue Productions. I'm not making this up. And just to show you how mature that she is, when she became the target of trolls on social media, she did not respond with a tone-deaf, self-absorbed rant, but instead she responded with the kindest manifesto, where she expressed that she wants to be more kind in her life and she hopes that the rest of the world will also do so. So basically all the harassment ended after that. She didn't fight fire with fire, she fought fire with water. She just put it out. She's a classic beauty that can show that she can be sexy without being slutty. And she's a class act that's mature way beyond her years. And she comes off as authentic in the world of Hollywood where everything seems so plastic. And on top of acting, she also is a singer as well. So yes, lots of talent, lots of charisma, lots of beauty. She nails all 5 points of the criteria of who I think should play Rogue. If they cast her today and signed her to an 8-picture, 10-year deal, she'd be just 32 years old at the time she's done. So this actress, Bailee Madison, the MCU should cast as Rogue, in my opinion. Yes! Thank you for watching. Showing right now is my top 10 of who I think should be considered to play Rogue in the X-Men full reboot for the MCU, with Bailee Madison being my #1 pick. Let me know what you think about the list. Do you think Bailee Madison is the best choice? And who would you pick to be Rogue if you had the choice? Please sound off in the comment section below. Rogue is one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics. Her adaptation in live action movies was just not too hot. Hopefully the MCU can get it right. And hopefully someone over at Disney is watching this video so they can get some assistance in the casting. But in all seriousness, we gotta get Rogue right. It's too important of a character to the X-Men universe to get so wrong for so long. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power, and I'm going to end this video with footage of Bailee Madison talking to her fans on Instagram Live, in which they try to guess where her next big project is gonna be. Could it be Rogue? Enjoy.
Hello! Hi guys. I just wanted to go live for a second and say hello. That's all. I keep saying soon, and it is soon. And so I'm curious. I tweeted last night, but I am actually curious as to what you guys think is going on. No, this is not the big announcement. It's not that soon, but it's soon. And how soon you think soon means. Kind of like it's fun for me right now. I'm like having a good time hearing all of your guesses. And so yeah, I'm curious about what the thoughts are. Come on, give us a sneak peek. I can't give you a sneak peek. I want to give you a sneak peek. I'm not allowed to give you a sneak peek. Someone said music. I love that idea. Maybe. I love how I go live right when my phone's gonna die, so I'm gonna have to hang up in a second. But let's see. What is your favorite song at the moment? I know I'm late to the party, but I just found this Fleetwood Mac song called Monday Mornings, and I love them and I love the song. So I've been listening to that when I like get ready in the mornings. I do really like it. Movie or series suggestions. I've got a good one for you. I'm gonna tell you soon my suggestion. I think you're gonna love it. So stick around. It's been crazy, but I'm so thrilled to get to, share it with y'all soon. Okay.